Alex, welcome to the show. Most attraction owners didn't wake up one day planning to build a VR software company. How did VR Cave come to existence?
My brother and I always wanted to do a startup together, and we're always looking for ideas. And one day we were living in the same duplex together, and he'd come by one day and it's like, "Oh, there's something about this virtual reality stuff we should take a look at." So we bought a headset, tried it out. Is the Oculus Rift Development Kit 2 way back in 2015. We tried on the headsets, and we're like, "Oh, okay, there's something awesome here." It felt like a very cool medium to be in. And we did some brainstorming, like, oh, where should we kind of go with this? And where we kind of initially thought it's like, oh, simulation makes a lot of sense. And while I think enterprise and kind of serious games and stuff makes plenty of sense, and we're like, hmm, large companies won't pay for an incomplete product because virtual reality is just so new and cutting edge. So we decided to kind of start an entertainment where people are always looking for the latest and greatest. And so, yeah, we kind of started VR Cave and we're like, oh, let's go find a unique part of the technology and kind of go deep in that direction and stuff. Admittedly, we broke one of the cardinal rules of starting a business where we were a business idea or a product in search of a market. And then it took a couple years for VR Cave. Took a couple years for VR to get generally more ubiquitous and understood in the space, but we eventually got there. Started kind of from an initial seed of like, oh, we love the technology and we're really passionate in building something in the space of which entertainment made certainly the most sense.
So, what problem were you trying to solve when you guys started?
Entertainment operators are always looking for something new and novel to bring new customers sooner and their old customers coming back for more. We've always been on the bleeding edge with our tech. And the very first product we made was actually a 8-minute VR haunted house. And this is Hospital of Horror, which we still actually have today within our product offering. And I recall the tech on that one, the VR backpacks that just come out and they arrived the day before we're going to open the public. So we didn't have a full backup plan for if those backpacks didn't arrive on time, besides like hook you up to a laptop and try to do cable management in a large free roam space. We've always have a strong focus on novel, new, exciting kind of cutting edge stuff, and something we've added over time, which ironically added or more so doubled down and tripled down over time, is really that social connection. Because people go to entertainment facilities in groups and they want to play with their friends. So we've always had a very strong social component to all of our games and experiences.
Now, like, were you coming from tech, gaming, or attractions background?
We primarily came from a tech and gaming background. So I have a degree in computer science. I worked in a couple startups throughout the years, and then my brother had a PhD in computer science, and he wrote his PhD thesis on human-computer interfaces, which is a bit of the underlying tech to virtual reality and the gesture management and stuff. So we always came from the tech, and we always loved video games growing up. We kind of leveraged our skills and our natural passions there, and I think something that really helped the early days with it. You saw a lot of other startups and startup founders and stuff, and yeah, I'd say no shortage of business starters that wanted this product to come to market if only someone would build it for them. But he had the perfect business plan for it. And it's like, oh, well, we just built the product and then the business stuff kind of fell in after place. So we're always much more passionate kind of for the tech, and video games was a kind of natural passion, and entertainment made a natural fit for it. One of the ways we had looked early in this process is taking the example of laser tag. While laser tag has been commoditized to some degree, you can go to a Walmart or a Best Buy and pick up a laser tag vest, or Amazon. People will always go to a dedicated facility for laser tag because they get the latest and greatest stuff, an awesome arena. You go there with friends, you do a bunch of other stuff. So we kind of saw that with virtual reality as well right at the beginning. We could make a VR games for the home market, but the home market was going to take a lot of years to kind of mature. When the first headsets were $1,200 after a $3,000 computer, and then you're in for over $4,000 for one person to play. or you could buy an Xbox and get 4 controllers, and you're in for 500 or less. It's like, and you get AAA games. So we always kind of naturally started on the business to business side with a tech and a video game focus.
How different was the very first versions of what you guys built from what operators use today?
We've always been free roam and room scale. We had that day one. And in the past, you needed VR backpacks for that. I recall the initial size we had was, I think, 20 feet by 20 feet was our initial standard size, or 18 feet by 18 feet, actually, somewhere in there. And then we kind of modified it to 15 by 18 as our minimums, because 15 foot was a much more common building dimension size. And VR backpacks was kind of the requirements to get in, and then it shifted a lot when standalone headsets came out, compellingly in the Oculus Quest headset, now known as the Meta Quest headset. So the first one. And that one you could get a decently high visual fidelity with, and you could be in the headset for like $500, $600. Instead of needing $3,000 to $4,000 per player. So that was a very strong turning point. Today, we still actually support both the PC VR side and the standalone side, which I think is and it ended up going well, because we're kind of going full circle here, where you have headsets like the Vive Focus Vision, Vive Focus 3, Pico 4 Ultra Enterprise that support very good wireless streaming. So you can get the PC VR graphics while having the players having the lightweight experience of just a standalone headset. It hasn't changed too much from our initial offering, which is perhaps a bit rare, where we wrote a business plan and it's 90% still intact from the original.
But equipment have changed quite a bit.
Very much so, yeah. It's standalone is very much the new standard these days, and we've always been on the cutting edge, keeping it where we've chosen design paradigms to be software agnostic and hardware agnostic as much as possible. So as hardware and headsets come out, is this a good fit for what we're looking for? Yes, it is. Okay, let's go add this as support, and allows us to be flexible to how the shape of the technology changes over time.
Explain a little bit more. You work with the different types of headsets and companies who produce them, and as they come out, you guys adapt to work with your software? Is that how it works?
To some degree, there's kind of middle layers for a lot of this. So I'd say there's two main streams when it comes to virtual reality and the hardware stacks required on each. On the original PC VR side, you had a gaming PC, which could be in the form of a laptop, a desktop, or a VR backpack that's running Windows and NVIDIA display drivers. You plug in a PC VR capable headset, HTC Vive. That was probably the most common stream on that one. And you got some tracking in it. And you get great quality graphics because you have a dedicated graphics chip supporting that. And the newer set of tech, so this kind of came out 2019 with the Oculus Quest. The big innovation that brought was something known as 6 degrees of freedom. So you look left, right, up, down, and rotation in all three of those directions. So it's a fully immersive experience as you would expect. And those run off a cell phone chip that's embedded in there. Now that cell phone chip has to run everything. So it's running the game or the content. It's running the firmware. In this case, it's the Meta platform. It's taking care of all the audio, all the visuals, the tracking, and all that other stuff. So there's a lot of things asked of that chip. And then because it's being all partitioned off, only so much can be used for graphics. So you typically have to scale it back to what's possible on the on that headset. So certainly the most common one for virtual reality across the world is the Meta Quest 2, I believe, is the most widely sold one. A Meta Quest 3, kind of an upgrade for it, and Meta Quest 3S. And then on the more commercial side, you see Vive Focus 3, Vive Focus Vision, or Pico 4. Well, Pico 4 Ultra Enterprise would be the top end on the Pico side, but Pico's had a lot of options as well. So yeah, that's usually a headset, 2 controllers, and the content runs locally on the headset.
Interesting. Let me ask you, there is a lot of different options. There is a VR, AR, XR. Why you guys have chosen to go with VR technology? There is also augmented reality and mixed reality. So why VR?
Yeah, Great question. So all this fits under the umbrella of XR, extended reality, of which virtual reality is the largest group for all this. Early when we were kind of looking at the technologies and the headsets that were coming out, we do actually feel like there's a lot of promise in augmented reality. And we like the HoloLens 2. Always the demos were a little more showy than reality, unfortunately. So field of view has those issues like packing enough computing power into the field of view. It's been a challenge. Magic Leap was supposed to be amazing, and then that hasn't quite fully taken kind of root and stuff. And then mixed reality, I feel is like come out of left field. We were quite expecting it. Mixed reality, I guess, to show a bit of the differences for it. So virtual reality, which is what we focus on, from the viewer perspective, everything you see is virtual. So it's on a screen. Augmented reality, you see the real world, like through a pair of glasses or through a lens, and then virtual elements are superimposed on top. Mixed reality is where it's kind of partway between both of those. So the world is rendered usually through cameras, and then you have virtual things put on top of it as well. So the pass-through mode in Meta Quest 3 or the Apple Vision Pro, while they call it a spatial computing device, it's a mixed reality headset. And yeah, so why have we kind of gone for virtual reality? With all these technologies, you need some killer app that uses that technology to the fullest and makes use of everything that it can do well. For virtual reality, while it has lots of use cases, the best one so far has been video games, kind of for the immersion and the amount of fantastical visuals and experiences you can impart. You can be inside the video game, unlike anything previous to it. And there's cool applications on augmented reality and mixed reality, but there's no killer app that, oh hey, the experience or doing this task is 10 times better than what's available today. And we're still waiting to see like what's the strong why that those other kind of technologies and headsets use and stuff. Something that I think could help fix that stuff is coming overcoming the computing issue, which a bunch of companies will be trying that this year with a puck system or a mini computer attached to like mixed reality glasses or augmented reality glasses. A bunch of companies will be coming over with that this year, but I think with like 6G bandwidths in the future, you can stream a bunch of stuff right to a headset or a pair of glasses. That may really unlock a bunch of things in the future, but that allows for a lot of data. You still need to have some anchor experience or anchor day-to-day workflow that really makes the difference.
So you chose VR because of the guest experience mostly?
When we started 2015, 2016, augmented reality wasn't quite arriving yet. You could get some dev kits by 2017, 2018. And mixed reality only showed up realistically in the last 3 years thereabouts, or
Hmm.
maybe even 2 years, when pass-through technology got good enough. So they're later joined to the kind of mass market. So those are still newer technologies, both on the technical side, but also market potential. So the largest one is still currently virtual reality. And, the metaverse was an interesting idea put forward by Zuckerberg. And while I think it has some legs, it's still got to ask the question, like, what experiences can exist in the metaverse that are better than what you're doing today? So VR, I think right now has the best capable experiences and is the most tried and tested, and the technology is the furthest along right now. Not to say that that can't change the next couple of years, but VR is certainly the most mature at this point.
Are you afraid that other technologies and other experiences can be strong competition to you once they also start maturing?
Not so much. So we're not deeply married to what we do today and stuff in the sense that you know, we're hardware agnostic. So if a new mixed reality headset comes out and there's a good way to kind of put an experience on it, we're certainly looking to open flight lines into that and trying that out. We're very much focused on entertainment and social, bringing people together through technology. And right now, the best way to do that is virtual reality. There's kind of some cool use cases I see with mixed reality where, going back to the laser tag example, you can reuse like an old laser tag arena, and then put all these cool visuals on top of it with mixed reality. So you can wear these new headsets that can revitalize kind of old stuff, which is a cool kind of thought idea. See if that kind of takes off. The focus we have today is entertainment, and whichever headset or technology that gets us there, that's where we want to be.
And I noticed that VR Cave has stayed consistent on a social and group-based VR, not a single-player headsets, not like isolated booths. And this is what I'm familiar with. When I first experienced VR for my escape room, for example, I actually bought one of HTC Vive systems, and we paid a crazy amount of money for it. And we had one station that we were working on. And it never took off. Compared to our escape room sales, it was, not even comparable. And then I know booths start existing where people would come in and play in a booth, but it still was single player. And you, interestingly enough, focusing on our multiplayer experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Yeah. When we kind of looked at it, we certainly saw the boost stuff at the beginning, and that was the easy, low-hanging fruit for it. What we initially immediately saw as well, it's like, well, the headsets are going to get cheaper over time, somehow. And this will come into the home much more readily. So we kind of saw a lot of the early VR booth style experiences were similar to internet cafes, which people went to when they didn't have internet at home, or there's gaming cafes as well, where high-end gaming computer, and you could go there with like a LAN gaming thing with you could go with friends. But in both those, that's like, oh, that's going to be limited until this gets commoditized. And you don't know all the ways. Like back when it started, you'd have no idea that the Meta Quest 2 would, do so well. But that's like five years down the road. So, and we decided where we wanted to start was like escape rooms, really, and kind of going to that next. How can virtual reality do some? How can this application be 10 times better than what people do today and stuff? And as you know from your experience with escape rooms, like building an escape room, lots of hours, lots of sweat equity. You can buy it, and it's like 25 for a starter kit, up to 50, 100, 150,000. Sky's the limit on what you can buy. But you can put in sweat equity to kind of balance it off. Of course, as that gets more popular, required bar of how good that experience needs to be upgrading as well over time. And then we also saw with escape rooms, you rent out a space, you build, let's say, 4 escape rooms. If you give someone an amazing customer experience after they've done all 4, they won't be coming back to your business, despite how awesome it was. And you're like, and then there's a risk to taking off one of those rooms offline, because then you're only producing from 3, you're rebuilding for the months for that other one, and then you hope that one's going to be as good as money producing as the rest of them. And then the ongoing maintenance of clues walk out with players sometimes, things get broken and all this other stuff. And kind of why we started with VR Cave and virtual reality is like, okay, let's go into, people know what escape rooms are. So let's kind of template our stuff off that. And then let's blend what VR can do well with showing very fantastical places. So the first one was Space Station Tiberia, Space Station. Zero gravity is very tough to do here on Earth, so that was a natural fit. We did one with underwater with sharks, Depths of Osiris, and then one with mixing potions, getting cool effects, and fighting a dragon and Dragon Tower. And then, within a single physical piece of real estate, you can have that player come back to that room 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, because you just press of a button and it's a different escape room experience. So they're using that piece of real estate again and again. So that's kind of what we had seen as a way of doing a killer app, where like this technology lends itself and we can do something 10 times better than what's done today. In the sense of room resets, there's localization put in, hints are built into the system, all this great stuff. And a new game comes out every year, so you even have that room fatigue being managed and stuff. So that one we saw a much more sustainable model long term. And early on with entertainment, it's like, oh, people go in groups with friends. You can put them in single booths, but they want to be in the same game together. And it's like, well, let's remove the walls and keep it like room scale. And then like, what's the most immersive part of virtual reality? When it's free roam as well. You're not tethered in with any wires and everything. So we just decided, go with a high watermark for technology and then build it out.
So is it designed for operators, or I feel like VR it's more for developers in first place. Right now, who's your clients?
Yeah, so effectively this is a double-sided market. So we of course sell to entertainment operators all around all around the world. Escape room businesses, virtual reality arcades, family entertainment centers. Any of those kind of things make a lot of sense, even mobile event-based stuff. So providing an easy solution for them, like, oh, this is the hardware package, this is the software package, this is easy to do room sets, this is a bunch of ways to make your life as an operator easier. Now, on the flip side of it, the other side of the market is, of course, the players. You got to have a cool and compelling experience. And we've always been very purposeful on like having a high quality experience to get them interested, get them into the experience, and then coming back for more. Because the value for the operators as well is when their customers, their patrons come back again and again. So make a great game and put good operator features in so the operators enjoy operating it, players enjoy playing it. So it's really a double-sided market.
Who is ideal customer for you? So you mentioned escape rooms, you mentioned the family entertainment centers. Where it fits well, where you can see that people really enjoy it and it's just like profitable and makes most sense.
Yeah, so currently we're in about 270 locations around the world, lots of different types of operations with it. And I'd say the two main ones would be escape room owners or people that are looking to have an escape room style experience within their facility, so a mixed entertainment place as well. That kind of business owner, they care much about curating the player experience. Players get in, do they have a good time? They're well taken care of. High win rate for players, all very important and stuff. And they understand the escape room market, how to put it together as deals and packages, and that's kind of one ideal customer profile you could say for it. The other one would be the gamer, the escape room player base, which is typically 18 to 35-year-old, equal male or female. They'll play for different reasons. So like being near student campuses makes a lot of sense for university or college. And then on the other side, hitting the gamer demographic, ages 13 and above, mostly male. And these would be like VR arcades most often. And they, I would say, understand the player base and are able to offer something that the gamers don't get at home. And the social aspect certainly helps. Like, you know, our arenas are 17 foot by 20 foot is our recommended size. So 6 players participating in a shared game together. People don't have that size of space at home to play with, nor do they have 6 headsets ready to go for them and all their friends. So virtual reality arcades that really understand kind of like how to bring in that kind of gamer demographic, leaderboards, and a bunch of other stuff can help. And we bring in a unique place where it's like we very much focused on the escape room side of things. There's a lot of other great content with zombie shooters and other kind of games of that type. There are many and many of them, and it's like, oh, other operators can do that stuff. Let's focus on creating great immersive escape room experiences then.
With their VR, where are we right now, like, as far as motion sickness? It's not motion sickness, but you know what I'm talking about.
Mm.
When people experiencing some uncomfort, and I know it was like pretty intense in the past. Is it changing?
Yeah, so the stemming of that is from VR sickness, as it was dubbed early on. And admittedly, it's caused some headwinds since then, where early experiences cause a lot of this VR sickness, which is very similar to motion sickness. And it's basically there's a disconnect between what you're seeing with your eyes and what your brain perceives behind the scenes. A lot of people's first experiences with virtual reality made them nauseous, so they're like, oh, VR is not for me. And we were aware of this kind of as we started building out, and there's some early inklings as to what was causing it. And so we've avoided all those issues like the plague. So I'd say all of our experiences, no VR sickness at all with all of us. Even if the player was susceptible to something in the past, like all of ours are designed for maximum comfort. So there's like no VR sickness at all in the VR cave experiences. And kind of what had caused it. So one was forced perceived motion on it when the virtual world is moving around you, but your inner ear is saying that it's not moving. So a VR roller coaster is a big example of that. You don't feel the motion that you're seeing. So that disconnect causes nausea. And then in a similar vein, the technology's gotten better on this. Like if you turn your head, is what you're seeing, does it lag behind? Is it slower than how you turned your head? And there's motion to photon latency is what it's called. So from your movement to your eye perceiving it, it needs to be under 20 milliseconds of delay, or else your brain's like, oh, you seem to have strange vision. You must have had poison. Let me get that poison out of you, which then causes nausea. And then the final one is similar to that, like the frame rate for things. This one actually had different comfort levels. So 60 frames per second was okay. 75 was good for almost everyone. 90 frames, as far as we can tell, is perfect for everyone. Meaning at a constant 90 frames per second. And this is sometimes why with virtual reality, the graphics don't seem as good, but that's because you're at 90 frames per second, which is 50% higher than most kind of gaming stuff. You can go to 120 frames per second or 120 hertz. I'm not sure if there's much value in that per se. Not too much perception stuff. So yeah, I'd say VR sickness today can kind of be mitigated if you avoid those things entirely, which is how we've designed it. There's other ways that you can sort of mitigate it, especially if you have motion in your experience or perceived motion, by adding like two examples I can give is one is add a cockpit or some stationary stuff right next to you. This would be similar to in a car, you have a dashboard, a steering wheel that's all stationary while the windows are all moving and stuff. So be a similar one to that. Doesn't prevent VR sickness, but reduces it significantly. Another one is vignetting. So kind of almost getting a bit of tunnel vision, and you kind of darken the edges of your visuals. So you only focus on in front of you, then you have less motion around you, visually speaking. So those are kind of two techniques if what you're creating must have motion. And lots of other techniques are available.
When you design a VR escape experience, what constraints are always top of your mind?
So there's those technical ones. So we must maintain like 90 frames per second, no dropped frames and stuff when you have too much stuff happening in one place. And we know that we're going to be deploying into our 17-foot by 20-foot room, so it's got to fit into that kind of experience. And then kind of on the creative design side, we always start with like, why virtual reality? And we put that into two places. We didn't want to be too much escape room where it's, oh, hey, there's a random combination of three numbers here, and I should find out where to put that in. And it's like, why did that three-number sequence exist there? Doesn't make kind of narrative sense within the world. For example, in Space Station Tiberia, now we're middle level, three systems are offline. And you're like, oh, okay, let's go get three systems back online. But there's no random scrawlings on the wall of like why that you need to input elsewhere, or some of the kind of low-hanging fruits that's possible on the escape room side. So it always needed to make kind of narrative sense with it. And we treat a lot of our experiences with like, hey, the beginnings are kind of easy to kind of warm people up to the experience, and kind of more puzzly stuff in the middle, and then having some cool, awesome finale at the end. So you can have a nice, exhilarating stuff, which goes a bit beyond what a typical escape room experience you'd have, but lends itself well to kind of virtual reality and that kind of more video game side of things, and having a cool climactic finale.
In a different environments, experiences is different length. For example, escape rooms normally like minutes, and then I know VR experiences in a, let's say, family entertainment center, it might be like 5-minute shooter experience or ride experience or something. You do all of them?
Our focus is very much on the 45 to 60-minute escape room experience. While our escape rooms contain action elements to them, we're first and foremost an escape room.
Okay, so your main product is actually escape rooms.
That's correct.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay. Do you have any other products or no? Or you specifically focus on escape rooms?
So we have 10 VR escape rooms, all 45 to 60 minutes. We still have Hospital of Horror, the 8-minute VR haunted house. And then we have an arcade game called Laserbots, which is a kind of cooperative puzzle game. Puzzle arcade game, good for kids, good for adults. But yeah, our focus has always been multiplayer, and except for those other two titles, it's VR escape rooms, really.
Okay. And what's the throughput? Like how many people can participate simultaneously?
Yeah, so each arena, if you run it in typically you'd book based on escape rooms. Book a 1 hour time slot, and you'd have up to 6 players participating in the shared game together. If you have more space, you can have multiple rooms, each with 6 players. There's ways of running it as shorter ones. We've seen locations run it as 30-minute games. I'd say then you're kind of on a 45-minute one. And yeah, the location that I'm thinking that ran that was actually quite successful with that. So they must have had very, very high walk-in traffic. And so they're cycling people through very quickly and stuff. So, but yeah, the escape room experience is kind of like a night out experience. So it's like, oh, let's go do this with a group of friends, and then they'll stack something else on it as well.
So for corporate events, can you add more groups of 6 people that it's bigger event and all of them in the same environment, or it's going to be separate rooms and they not interacting between group of 6 to another group of 6?
Yeah, great question. So with corporate groups, or actually kind of something we've done generally is for the operator friendly controls on this one, you can be hands off with it where it's like, okay, 6 players after you get them into the game, the introduction's built in, the rules for VR, the hints are all, you just come back at the end of the experience. So it kind of runs on autopilot. Or you can curate the player experience and be like, oh, well, we got a lot of you guys in the group tonight, so let's just do, instead of doing the 3 or 4 room VR experience, we'll just do one of the rooms. So everyone in this group, we're going to do this for 10 minutes and away you go. And then cycle it to the next one. So for corporate groups who are at high throughput, it's possible to just do a mini version of the escape room experience versus doing all of them and have the keyboard controls and shortcuts to kind of allow for shorter experiences versus the full 45 to 60 minutes. So you can have high throughput if the need calls for it.
How much it cost?
We are a bit region dependent, and the cost is kind of split onto 2 sides. One is the hardware and equipment, number of options to go with. I'd say ballparks, 5,000 or 8,000 or 12,000 for a 6-player setup for all the hardware and equipment needed for one arena. And then kind of on our software side, we got 2 options to work with. There's an option kind of for software combo where you own all the games outright and forever. Good if you're going to be having multiple arenas and things like that. So prices will vary on that one depending on region and stuff. So that'll be somewhere between 30 to 45,000 for that one. And then the other option is a bit more like pay as you go, or kind of like a lease option. For VR Cave, we have a upfront activation fee, 3 to 5,000, and then an ongoing rate of $3 to $6 per player going through and stuff. We provide all the marketing supports, the games, new games every year, and a local territory or exclusive region for each of our operators as well.
Does it come with a separate booking system, or operators can use whatever booking system they use right now?
Yeah, it's the latter case. We find most operators have their favorite one or already have one. So it's like, okay, if you have one, yeah, we'll just add our stuff as a product within that as well. So no need for an additional booking system.
And what's the normal pricing you see operators price these experiences compared to physical escape rooms?
Yeah, and this is feeds into a bit as to why we have regional pricing with things. We find the pricing for it typically follows local escape room pricing. So what you would charge for a local escape room experience, you would charge for our experience as well.
Okay, operator have your equipment. How many different options they can offer?
Typically, it'd be 11 or 12 games or experience are available around the world, and adding a new escape room experience every year as well to that. So it's a great option today, and then it gets better over time as well. And we'll add additional features like additional hint stuff or additional rooms here and there sometimes, or localization is a big thing. So we have 8 supported languages today: English, French, German, Spanish, Italian, Russian, and Dutch. And we'll be adding more of these languages over time as well and supporting them into the future.
The prices you're mentioning, how much it costs for 6 set, it's amazing. Because I remember I paid $10K just for one set, one computer. There was 3 games installed and one headset. That was it, and it was with cables, so completely different experience. So prices went down dramatically. What about how durable everything? Because this is another problem we had. Headsets would start glitching. There's always problems with the cables, connections. How durable it is right now?
Certainly, like I think the HTC Vive, the durability of the cable came up as an issue very often. I think maybe that was like it was under designed for its use case, which ended up its use case as to what it ended up being. The headsets today, I'd say, are quite durable. It doesn't come up as a factor these days, generally speaking. Now, sometimes with like certain manufacturers, it's worth it upgrading the initial kind of straps that come with it to be like, oh, okay, here's this other accessory you can put on, changes the style, makes it actually more durable and more commercial-like by just upgrading the strap. That's kind of like the Apple Vision Pro, a nice comfortable strap. There's no weighting on it, so it's all very forward weighted. You want the headsets to have. If you have a screen and battery in the front. Ideally, you have like additional battery or some counterbalance, so it's a little equal forward and backs. There's accessories to make it a little bit more durable, but yeah, its durability has certainly increased over the years, and because you don't have a cable that's been yanked in a bunch of places, much better.
Okay. And so full set for six cost about 30K. Am I correct? Plus or minus?
30K would be if you went all the PC VR route. So if you got all the headsets and a gaming PC behind each of them, could probably even be under 30,000 for that. Back in yonder year, you certainly with VR backpacks and everything, yeah, it was 30K. These days, a complete set of six, all the hardware and equipment for one arena, is that 6 to 12,000 total for 6 players.
Okay. Yeah, which is very affordable compared to building escape room.
Very much so, yes. Another value proposition, like, oh, built much faster, and it's a cool experience that no one else has.
If an attraction owner is listening right now and considering VR, what advice would you give them before they spend money?
So VR has certainly lots of options with it. And just because the tech is cool, VR alone is not a silver bullet. Build it and they will come. Unfortunately, it's just not quite the case. So, it's treated like another entertainment option stuff. For example, if they were passionate in escape rooms, it's like, okay, good escape rooms are, I'm talking about physical ones, good physical escape rooms are helpful. But people need to know you exist, and hiring the right people that are also excited and can bring that excitement to the players and good player experiences, looking after customers. So sales, marketing, operations. There's so much more than just kind of the product as well with it. Where it fits well, where it's like, okay, I want something kind of cutting edge, and I understand it's the technology is cool and awesome and unique, and there's a full business to kind of wrap around it as well. And then similar, if you're an existing business owner, it's like, oh, I have this underutilized space. Let me go swap this in. It's like you've created a new product offering in your business. Make sure people know about it. Train your staff. So lots of plays through so they can be like, oh yeah, I love the one with the sharks, or oh, I love that one that you're traveling through time. So all those kind of known things in business very much still apply on the virtual reality side.
On the marketing side, one of the things I noticed, like if it's, for example, experience in a family entertainment center, when it stays empty, it looks broken. It looks like nothing working. It's dark. And also another thing I noticed that when people even playing, if there is no screen where you can see what they're doing inside, it also kind of just not fun even to watch. So how do you overcome these issues?
Yeah. At a what we certainly feel that as well, like trade shows and conferences. People naturally or subconsciously gravitate toward booths that are busy. There's a gaggle over there. There must be something cool to check out, and you'll want to check that out. And if you have a very large empty booth because no one's playing currently, it's like, oh, something wrong with these guys that this is not cool and engaging stuff. So certainly it's unique kind of with our stuff where it's like that applies, especially kind of on the floor of a family entertainment center or something. You like seeing people in there. And so having viewing into that and people having fun and reacting to things that you don't see in that, it looks like they're acting crazy or something. And you're like, oh, they're screaming. Let's have a look at that. Oh, that's what they're doing because they can see on the screen. So on the virtual reality side, certainly that helps a whole bunch. I want to see what they're seeing and stuff. Now, the strange thing with our stuff, of course, like, oh yeah, we do escape rooms. You don't see into escape rooms. even if you're walking by. Usually escape rooms are all behind closed doors because you don't want to give any puzzles away and you want to kind of allow people to be happily surprised when they kind of go into that as well. So it's a unique world where the VR escape rooms kind of live in both foot in both ways. So we've seen it operated in a single room, just like an escape room attraction, or it can be half walls or completely open, much more like a family entertainment center or arcade kind of attraction. So the big thing is kind of getting people in to try it out. And then once they try it out, like, oh, okay, I get this now. Virtual reality has a bit of the headwind of seeing is believing. Now you can show some videos and stuff. They kind of pale in comparison to the first person feeling that you get from actually being inside the experience. So sampling a whole bunch and providing demos and always have people in there certainly helps a whole ton.
Yep, 100%. Great advice. But if somebody is considering VR, what kind of questions they should ask vendors? What's the red flags to watch for?
When you're an operator looking to purchase virtual reality, deciding in with the end in mind, like what's the ultimate goal for this one? And who's your current clientele? Is it team building groups, corporate groups, things like that? Or are we looking to expand into that? Do you have young teens? Is it very young birthday parties? Things like that. And then finding the content kind of fits into it as well. And deciding kind of what's important content wise and then also like how involved do you want to be as an operator? Are you going to be one that rolls up your sleeve, learn the tech yourself and do every kind of part of it and then you can kind of pass it onto your team? Or do you want experts to come in, set everything up for you and for it to be foolproof where it's like, oh, okay, just press this button after you gear them up and then press this button to reset and you're done. So ensuring you kind of know where you want to be with it as well. And I'd say, generally speaking, when it comes to virtual reality, while there's been attempts elsewise, it's not fully hands off. It's not an unattended attraction like a arcade cabinet. Our stuff is mostly, I would say, it's 90% of it, where it's like you put them in the experience, and like the experience runs by themselves with the intros and hints and everything. But every now and again, like, oh, a battery needs to be swapped or things like that. And then other experiences are um, very action oriented. People will get carried away, and you kind of need someone nearby to make sure they don't go past the banisters and stuff. So a good thing is always because you can find a bunch of VR experiences. Ask other operators, like, how's your experience been with this? Do your players like it? Do you like the company that you work with? Are they easy to work with? Do they provide you the support of what you're looking for and stuff as well? So always asking around is great.
Nice. Alex, this has been incredibly valuable, especially for operators trying to make smart, future-proof decisions. So if someone wants to learn more about VR Cave or reach out to you, where should they go?
Yeah, they can reach out anytime going to vrcave.io. That's vrcave.io. And lots of information on our website, and feel free to reach out if they'd like to have a conversation.
Links to VR Cave are going to be in the show notes. So if you got value from this episode, make sure to leave a comment. It helps more operators find real conversations like this one. And until next time, keep building experiences worth remembering. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.